Okay, we're here with Jazyl Homavazir for the character design workshop at Switchfest. Take it away, Jazyl.
Hi guys, sorry camera issues, but yeah, thank you so much for joining this session, guys. So as you know, my name is Jazyl Homavazir. I'm an animator, artist, creator of the Beast Legion webcomic, and today Nikhil basically invited me to do a workshop on character design. So today we are going to do a very fun interactive workshop, and I'll be taking suggestions, like word suggestions from you guys, and we're going to make a character from those words. So I'm going to ask you guys, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to type in the first word that comes to your mind in the chat box. I'll be checking all of them out and picking 5 words, and we'll make one character from that. So let's go ahead, and I want you guys to just type in the word that comes to your mind in the create a character chat box. So you guys can go ahead, and then we'll start right away. And as usual, you guys can check my work on Instagram. Nikhil has shared the links. I would really appreciate your feedback. So let's see what words are being dropped. Just put a single word, guys. It has to be one word. So okay, switch, that's cool. So tech savvy, switch, mechanical. Okay, nice. So you guys have time. I'm giving you guys 2 minutes, and then I'll pick the words. So far everything seems very much in line. How many people are on right now? Come on, guys. Drop the first word that comes into your mind. You don't have to think about it. Just type absolutely anything. Old school sounds fine, but it's kind of descriptive rather than a word, right? So a word can be absolutely anything. Go ahead, old school works, but let me see what other options come up. So okay. Okay. So you can type right. Okay. Okay, guys. So those of you on YouTube right now, you guys can leave your comments as well. I'll be getting the feedback from the host. So please, if you're on YouTube also, you guys can type your one-word suggestions. Like I said, I'll be picking 5 words and creating a character from those. So just go ahead and type it out. You have another minute to go, so make it quick.
Nandan Das says, "Hi Jazz, Cyberpunk."
Okay. Nazo, is it possible for you to just type it down? So,
Yeah, I'll type it down for you.
Yeah, from
And
YouTube.
Kitu says, "Superpowers."
Cool. Nice. Toast. This is going to be fun. So it's all like mechanical stuff. So most of the words that we are getting are all related to mechanics. So it's going to be a kind of a tech savvy guy, I suppose. So everything is related to mechanical. Toast, I can kind of figure it out. So keep them coming, guys. You have exactly 30 seconds more, and then I'll start with the character design. And then you'll just be seeing my screen. You won't be seeing me, you'll be seeing my screen. So got it. Cyberpunk. So do we have 5 suggestions so far? Tech savvy, switch, mechanical is basically the same. Medieval, mask. Cool. Let's take 1-2 more. Guys, give me 1 or 2 more suggestions if you haven't already. How many people are on right now? Let's just see that. Okay, I'm going to start writing down the words. I think Nikhil, we are done. We can stop we can start with the design now. So let me first just write down all the words that have been, you know, given on the session, and we will. So let me see them one by one. I'll just type them down.
Arvind2906 says fire and water on YouTube.
So let's just go tech savvy. So tech savvy, mechanical. What else do we have? Medieval, mask, toast. This is going to be a lot of fun. And somebody said cyberpunk, and what else? Last one, fire and water. So I'll pick one, maybe. Let's see. We already have 5 words right now, so we can start with these, and I'm going to share my screen from here on. So give me a sec, guys. Let me just share my screen now, and we'll start with the whole session. Yep. So everybody can see my screen clearly, I hope. So I've picked these 5 words: tech savvy, mechanical, medieval, toast, and I think somebody said fire. So let's add fire as well. So now what can we make of this? Basically, we could probably make some sort of a robot, or kind of that fits the description of a. Guys, can you? I hope you guys are able to see me, hear me clearly.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm going to make a really funny character from this one. We're still going to keep it anime style, but since it's toast and switch, we're going to make a really fun character. And this is something I learned while working for studios, creating, tertiary characters that were in the background. So this is a formula we often used to use on these particular things. Like if there's an alien in the background, what would he look like? Like something really weird. So this is the formula we use. We used to brainstorm with sit in a studio, brainstorm, and come up with these really, really fun designs. So I'm going to create a character from these words, and this time I'm going to keep it simple, and if we have the time, we'll even do another character and with more kind of words coming in from you guys. So first of all, I'm going to make his body look like a toaster. And actually this is where the toasts will come out from. Or maybe we'll do something slightly different. So it's mask, something we'll have to first figure out with the mask, right? So I'm going to give him some sort of a mask, kind of a look. And I'm going to do something different with this. I'm going to give him like these cannons that actually fire out toasts. Okay, they would come somewhere around here, I guess. And we're going to add the concept of switch here. So you can do this in multiple variations, guys. It can be a completely different design. If you guys if you guys try it out, I'll actually take 3 or 4 versions of this character itself, like the way you can make it. I think somebody even said artificial limbs, right? Someone from YouTube, I believe, said artificial limbs. So I'm going to create this fun looking character who looks like a toaster, basically. And there is also the concept of medieval, so the design will change. Right now I'm just roughing it out, but you guys can always change the design. So what we'll do is, if it's medieval, we'll kind of give him some sort of chainmail and a toast type shield as well. So something that looks like a toast. And right now, like I said, I'm just drawing very roughly, and then we'll actually finalize the character. So he has one normal leg and another artificial limb. Okay, what can we do better with this? So I'm gonna remove the guns and I'll keep like a single and we're going to give him some armor as well to fit in the medieval aspect. And this is going to be the artificial limb. So again guys, right now it's just in the works, so it's going to be very sketchy, but after it's done we'll have a clear idea of what the character kind of resembles. So on one side I'm going to give him a toast like shield, so let's just make it a little closer to his arm because this kind of looks off. So this will be much better. So I hope my visuals are clear and you guys can see me clearly. And rather than giving him a skull-like armor, I'm going to make him more like a knight. So his face is covered, but kind of looks like a knight. And of course, I'm going to move his body as well a little bit. Okay, this is much better. So we'll actually put the switch somewhere around here where you can easily access it and start firing lasers from his chest piece. So anyway, this is going to be a very rough design. Again, I'm going to kind of take this particular design and put it on a new sheet because this was just the rough. Now we'll actually draw him in a proper way. I'm just going to scale this down and now we're going to do a proper version of him. So I'm going to flesh out a proper pose. Add some more details as well. So guys, while I of course draw, I can't see your chats, but I will get to them once I have I've finished the character, I will get to your chats. I will reply before taking on anything else. So as I said, right now I'm just fleshing out the character's looks. And this time I went with something more comic rather than an anime style character, though we can do that as well from this particular concept. So I think there was a option called fire as well, right? So maybe he has kind of like a device that kind of starts a fire on both, like has something related to flames on both sides. So let's try that. Yep, so now I have a basic pose set for the character. Now I'll be adding all the small details, correcting all the shapes. So let's go for it. So I'm going to give him, so he's going to be a kind of a knight. Let's just say a toaster knight or something like that. Here's where I give the details step by step, and this is like completely up to the artist on how you want to kind of detail it, but it's always necessary to first kind of use the elements that you have from the prompts and come up with a basic shape, and after that details become a lot more easier. So I'm going to draw something like this. So he has that evil smile underneath his. So he's tech savvy, he's medieval, he's wearing a mask, probably has a fire weapon. And the switch will always be the difficult part because it's in a kind of a 3D space. So I guess it's turned out okay. And let me just check the chats, that if any of you have put any chats. Okay, let me get back to live stage. And where is my screen? Okay, where do I? Okay, good. Let's get back. And I'm going to make his hands kind of, since it's mechanical, so I'm going to make his hands look more like those springy type wires. So you see all the small details that I'm adding later on. All these are not part of these particular word prompts that we used, but it's just to give an additional effect to the character, to kind of see what works for him. Now the thing is, I've been in this field for a very long time, so these things come easy to me, but I can always understand that when you're starting off it's going to be tough. But the moment you keep practicing, even like even if you get stuck during an art block, just do this exercise. Just suggest 3 words to your own self and start drawing characters from those words. It's super effective when, especially when you're in an art block. So do try it out whenever next time you face an art block or anything like that. I'm going to draw this slightly differently. So I'm going to draw the shield a little more. Something like this. Now we move on to the legs. Guys, if you have any questions for me regarding comics, art, or animation, please type it down in the chat box in my in the create a character workshop section. And once I finish this, I will definitely be answering some of your queries. So you guys can do that as well. And I guess we'll still have time for doing one more character, because right now I think this should get over pretty fast. And then we can just do one more character, maybe rough him out or something. And what I'm going to do after that is I'm going to give you 3 word suggestions. And if you want to participate, you can. You can put the words, you can put your entries up on Instagram and tag me, and I will share all those particular entries that are posted on my, like, that I come across through the hashtag or through my username. So this guy is turning out pretty cool. He's kind of like a dwarf. So these are small details that I'm adding, during the design phase. I'm going to use the line tool to actually draw the straight lines. So yeah, we have our toaster knight ready. Let us just check if we've checkmarked all the words that we. So let's just go and check that out. Edit. Sorry about that. So yeah, let me just open the words. So tech savvy, mechanical, medieval, mass, toast and fire. I think we've got all of those covered. So here's the final version of the first character. Now we're going to go back and take a few more word suggestions from you guys and create another character. So back to the chat, guys. Let me see what you guys have in store. File new. Okay. So we're going to go back to the create a character workshop chat. And which tablet do I use? I use the Wacom Intuos Pro, guys. So it's an absolutely amazing tablet. It lasts for a very long time. Unlike most other tablets, it has a very long shelf life. And I always recommend it to anybody, but of course, if you want to start off, if you're just starting off, you can go for any of the lower end tablets. There are so many. There's Huron, Wacom, X Pen. So I personally use a Wacom Intuos Pro medium size. So now that one character is done, I want you guys to once again come to the chat and share the next word suggestions. So first word that comes to your mind, quickly go and share it in the chat. Okay, we have a first suggestion, that's guitar. Anybody else? And guys, if you want to do this, please, if you want to work on these same word suggestions, I'm going to open the screen once more. You guys can write it down if you want. I'm going to share the screen again on the live stage. So, where were we? Okay. So, tech savvy, mechanical, medieval, mask, toast, and fire are the words that I personally picked up. You guys can also pick up these same words. Let me just zoom in so you guys can take a screenshot and maybe work on the character later on. Tech savvy, mechanical, medieval, mask, toast, and fire. So do we have any other word suggestions? So guitar, metal, undead, that's pretty cool. Any suggestions coming in from YouTube, guys? You guys can also suggest. I will be forwarded the required suggestions and we'll come up with a character. So guitar, metal, undead. Looks like a rock, kind of a heavy metal rock band or something. Come on guys, 2 more suggestions and we can get this started. So quickly, we have around 20 minutes to work on it. So type in your suggestions right away. Where's everybody gone? Nikhil, any suggestions? Any suggestions coming from YouTube, guys? Yeah. Let's see. Flames, cool. Nandan Das is also typing something. Let's see. And okay, monster, undead, flames, metal, and guitar. Cool. So let's go and start with a new design. And I'm straight away going to start from the pose this time. So I'm just going to first rough out the pose for the character. I'm not used to drawing characters, playing guitars, but let's see how this turns out. So we're gonna have a really gnarly guitar. And I'm already, this time I'm going to start with the character pose itself so that we don't waste time on the rough phase because we have like 20 minutes left to go. So I guess the hands will come somewhere around here. Okay, cool. I guess we have the basic pose ready. This is how I usually do stuff, guys. I first rough things out so it makes it very easier to do the final line art. However, for that you need to have a very strong anatomy skills so that you can just later on it becomes very simple. So I'm roughing out the main kind of feel of the character. So yeah, this is how it's going to be. And he's going to have okay, so it'll make sense once I actually, draw the characters. So I'm going to type down the word suggestions first. Guitar, metal, undead, flames, monster. What was that? Okay, carpet. Okay, cool. We'll come up with something. So if it's a carpet, I'm gonna show this thing kind of. Anyway, cool. So right now things won't make much sense, but let's get to it. So we can do two things. Either the musician is undead or whatever the monster here is kind of an undead character. So I think, what do you guys suggest? I think we have our 5 word suggestions now, so we can start off right away. So let's make the main character kind of like an undead zombie or something, and we'll make the thing coming, the symbiote coming out from his back, kind of like breathing fire. So one step at a time, we're going to take this. So let's start with the character. So I'm going to show him as an undead kind of a zombie. Of course, and since he's related to heavy metal, probably that's why I decided to go with the undead version. So now that you see I have the line art ready, everything becomes so much more easier for me to complete. And we'll still give him a tongue. And show him kind of with one eye, make him a little more badass. So while I'm drawing, guys, I won't be able to see the chat, but once it's over, I'll definitely look into all your queries. Let's give him a punk kind of look. Oh, is the screen is not on? Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I need to get used to this. Right stage. And anyway, let me start from start. So here's the thing, guys. Sorry about this technical issues going. So anyway, like I said, here's the basic rough version of the character that I've kind of summarized, and we're gonna go with the undead feel for the characters. I've already kind of started drawing over it. I'm sorry if you guys missed it. So we're gonna kind of give him an old zombie kind of look. And again, just reiterating the word suggestions: guitar, metal, undead, flames, monster, and carpet. So I'm gonna give him like this heavy metal fur. Is the screen visible now clearly, guys? Just so we're going to shape the guitar in the form of kind of like a monster. So sorry, it'll be longer, right? Let's cool. So he still has one hand intact. One hand is bones, but the other hand is still intact. And of course, right now I'm drawing guitars and stuff without any reference, so proportions may vary a little. So I'll clean these things up. Just sides of this one. Kind of giving him a rock star feel, but at the same time he's kind of scary as well. And here's where we can give him like these, shin guards or stuff like that. And same on this side, only on this side I'm going to give him some sort of a monster looking shin guard. But that's actually not going to cover the monster part, there's actually going to be more. Again, this is still not the fair version, guys. I'm still roughing it out. It's not, so we don't really have time to, finish over it. So I'm trying to make it as crisp as possible. But of course, if I take another run of this character, of course, I will be adding more details. So this is gonna go up till here. This is kind of like a symbiote that's basically controlling his body. And since flames are involved, I'm going to show it kind of firing flames. So it's kind of like a monster symbiote. So basically, it stays hidden behind his cape. So carpet cape. I know it's a different analogy, but I think I'm using it this way. So usually the carpet is on his back, but kind of when the monster awakens, so let's just remove this part. And yeah, you have the character design ready. So what do you guys think? All cool? I'm just going to share the screen one last time so you can see both the designs. Sorry for the slight mix up of, because I'm doing this for the first time on Discord, so I got mixed up with the live video and stuff like that, but I hope you guys don't mind that. So these are the two characters we basically designed during this session. Check them out. So Toaster Knight and Undead Rock Zombie, or whatever you may call him. So let me know, guys, if you have any suggestions. Nazo, how do we take it forward from here? Should I like do a little question answers if people have any? So guys, I hope you enjoyed the session. We can move to the backstage and you can ask me anything regarding comics, art, or animation for the next 5 minutes. And okay, so all right, so going to the backstage now. Nandan and I think somebody else was also unmuting. So again, guys, don't feel shy. Anything you need to ask me regarding comics, art, animation, my journey, Beast Legion, you guys can fire away. Anything related to my artworks or career related oriented questions.
Hello.
Hi Nandan. Hi Nandan.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, Nandan.
How are you?
I'm not getting the audio clearly. Nazo, can you hear it?
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, we're both on the chat as well. Because I think there is an issue with the voice connection. And Nandan has been a big time Beast Legion fan, so he's always bought my books and stuff. So I'm very grateful to that.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, how are you, Zez?
I'm good, Nandan. How are you? Long time.
Fine, fine. I'm fine too. Fine. Yeah, I want to really ask you one thing. See, first of all,
Sure.
the second drawing which you have done about this undead guitar, that is really awesome. I don't know how you got that imagination. Like there is something suddenly you got few words and you made it something very awesome, man. Uh,
Yeah,
I want to ask you one thing.
it's
See,
a very good. Yeah, sure. Sure, go ahead, Nandan.
I'm a very big fan of character design. The thing is that there are certain camera angles for a character
Right.
movement which makes it more dynamic than the normal angle. Okay, so those
Absolutely.
a lot in internet and lot things. Can you give me some tips that how can I get the ideas for this dynamic, not the poses actually, the dynamic angles of the camera where the picture or the character looks more dynamic.
Okay, so that depends. See, everything begins with a straight model sheet, right? Straight
Okay.
3/4 view. All right. It's only when you start moving the characters into comics and panels is when you think about the dynamic angles. So
Hmm.
there are now a lot of reference softwares that you can use. Clip
Reference
Studio, in
software.
fact. Clip Studio. Yeah, like there are softwares which allow you to, see the human body from different angles, and you can actually, adjust the dynamism. Like if it's focusing on the head, you can put the camera in a view that the head appears bigger and the body appears shorter. But once you actually get used to drawing stuff, right? Like I've been drawing comics since forever, so for me, these things come easy. But if you're starting off, I think there are some really great books on perspective drawing, on how to draw manga. Then even animation survival kit by Richard Williams has some very good
Yeah.
tips on perspective drawing. But
Hmm.
overall, I suggest watching a few YouTube channels because perspective drawing in itself is a very vast topic. All right, so
Okay.
there are model sheets and then there's perspective drawing. So the more like for me to show it here, I could show it probably. I could share the screen as well.
Hmm.
Can I share the screen on this channel? Okay, let me just share the screen because I'll be able to show you just a very brief thing, just
Yeah.
maybe draw a character in that view, but ultimately it kind of goes on to how how much you practice. Now I don't need grids or things to let me just pull this in.
Mhm.
It's going all over the place. Anyway, let me just start. So obviously always start with the head when you're drawing perspectives.
Okay.
So I use guidelines. Now, if the character is like, plunging forward, all right, he's plunging towards the screen. So his arms will always fall back. All these are like anatomy when you start learning anatomy. And body will,
Yep.
up to the chest, it will appear normal. But after that, it will taper. All right. So you see the waist goes thinner and thinner.
Hmm.
And of course, this particular leg won't be seen, but this one will kind of again go. So basically, you're taking the camera. So there's a point of view kind of a thing. Sorry, my canvas isn't large enough. So
So
let's just say
actually,
the point
something like this.
starts from
Your
here,
screen
right?
is here.
Yeah. So you have to kind of fit it in within this particular path. So the leg will be somewhere here. And like I said, right now I'm just explaining it in real brief, but it's a whole study in itself. You get my point? Perspective drawing, 2 point perspective, 3 point perspective is actually a whole study in itself. Let me just remove
Hmm.
this, otherwise people will think it's a second leg. So yeah, that's how it kind of is. So it only comes with practice. It's very difficult. I know perspective drawing is very difficult, but the more you draw, the better you'll get, and that's I think the only thing I can kind of offer right now.
Okay. Okay.
Any other questions?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Actually, the screen is not showing here. Actually, I didn't say anything.
I
If you have
just shut it
drawn,
down. Was it showing before that? Was it
okay.
showing before that or not?
No,
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 no.
I'm just asking, was it showing before that? Okay, let me because I closed it just now, so
Okay,
I
okay. For
thought
me,
let me just share it with you.
okay,
Let me just share it with you. So you see it now?
uh, no, it's not here.
Are you?
Okay, okay. You see it then.
I'm not sure. Are you able to see the screen right now?
My point of view here. Yeah, in YouTube. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. So I was drawing that. I was actually showing you. I didn't know you weren't able to see the screen. So sorry about that.
Okay, okay.
Absolutely. Cool. So let's get back on.
Okay,
Anybody
okay.
else have
That
any
will be.
questions, guys? Nandan, thanks for joining. I hope I was able to answer your question, but I know it's a very vast topic to cover in just like, a chat session.
No, no, it's okay. Need little tips from
Yeah,
a professional people like you. See, we are searching YouTube and Google like with our
absolutely.
knowledge, but it really helps even a one point
Yes,
is
yes,
given by you. That helps a lot. Okay. Anyway,
absolutely,
Jazyl,
absolutely.
that's thanks a lot.
Anyone else have any questions? Thank you so much, Nandan. Thank you so much for the question. Anybody else
Yeah,
want to ask
that's from
anything?
my side.
Otherwise, we can end the session.
I had a
Okay.
question.
Hi, Logan. Hi, Logan. Tell me.
Hello. So I wanted to know, for warm-ups and all, how many figures do you recommend for an beginner to intermediate artist per day?
I would
So,
say 15 to 20. Just poses. So if you're starting off, if you're a beginner, right? Just
right.
take random poses, right? You get stuff on Google. If you reference like characters jumping, characters sprinting, you'll get all type of different stock images showing up. But I use a very different technique for this. So whenever I take a random anime. I just open a random anime because as you know, I'm a huge anime fan, and anime has some of the best dynamic poses, proportions, and stuff like that, right? So my technique is a little different. What I do is I just start any random anime that I have on the PC, and at random intervals I just pause it, and whatever pose the character is in that particular panel, I just kind of sketch it out. I even do it till this date. So I used to start that way, and I even do it now. So it's a very cool way to learn dynamic poses and stuff like that while actually seeing the characters in action, so you know how the character is going to land, what is going to be the feedback once he lands, how is he going to move. So that helps out a lot. So you can actually freeze frame and actually draw that whole pose. That is one way of doing it. Other ways, of course, going through Google, referencing images based on what you want. Like for one day, just focus on walking patterns, all right? So you take a fat person, you take a thin person, you maybe take a dog, and just do like, three, four different poses you know, throughout the whole kind of. You get what I mean, right?
Yeah, yeah, I get it.
So different angles, different, and I would suggest around 15 to 20 poses daily. Just rough sketching. I'm not asking you to draw the whole character. Just roughly sketch out the outline, the pose. That will help a lot. I mean, of course, it's going to take time. It's going to take like months, if you like months, if not like more. But that will definitely help you out. For an intermediate to a beginner, I'd say 15 poses a day at least.
And what about placing characters in an environments? A lot of people like me struggle in those areas.
Absolutely, because environment depends what shot it is, whether it's a dolly shot, whether it's a top view. So that is very subjective, and that comes only with practice. Until you're good at anatomy, don't think about drawing characters in backgrounds, in dynamic backgrounds, because anatomy forms the main kind of focus. And by the way, guys, my Instagram ID is JazylHDraws, not JazylH.art. Just letting you guys know because that account was hacked a year back. So I'm now on JazylHDraws. So just letting you guys know, I think some people are tagging it. Anyway, so Logan, any questions? Was I able to clear it? Because, like I said, again, drawing characters in backgrounds is a whole different topic in itself. So you'll probably learn that as you kind of start your own comic page development. Again, backgrounds is where perspective comes in, like Nandan was asking. So if you're
Right.
on the view, it really depends on that.
I mean, I see. The reason why I asked about characters in perspective and backgrounds is because I am working on one. The
Okay.
thing is that it is kind of hard to scale characters in the backgrounds because, like, if you're really new to this whole area of environments, it's hard to place characters in
Yeah,
proper scale. You try
exactly.
the scale of things and objects, right? It really goes. It becomes very haphazard, and it's really hard to give your panels or your whatever your art consistency. So that's why
Exactly. I can totally
going to
understand.
ask.
But that's where you have like, softwares like animation softwares where you put the background on a separate layer, turn off the opacity a bit and then adjust your characters. You can draw the character big on one layer and then, kind of scale it down. So
Right.
how do you use, what do you use? Are you just on pencil paper or do you use a tablet?
Nope. Actually, okay. I don't think you have recognized me till now, have you?
Anshuman.
Yeah. Hello.
Okay, cool. I thought about it, but since it's Logan, I didn't.
All right.
Cool, yeah.
No.
That's what I'm saying. So you, of course, draw completely traditionally, and I can totally understand that becomes
No.
difficult when it
For
comes.
comics, I shifted to digital. For comics, I shifted to digital. Thing is, right? I'm
Okay.
using two softwares. I'm using Medibank and I'm using Procreate. Uh, there's
Right.
there's a whole. I use Procreate specifically for the perspective tools it has because getting any good shot or creating good camera angles is really tough when you don't have those tools with you. So for perspective itself, I use Procreate. Uh, Environments are a struggle. Set dressing, interior design are a struggle. Right now, I can only focus on characters at the moment.
Yeah, I completely get it. So that's what I'm saying, Anshuman. Right now, don't jump into 10 different things. I would suggest first get your character, character action, character drawing straight. But after that, take like once you create the background in Procreate, right?
Yeah,
Import it into Medibank, all right, import it into Medibank, draw the characters in different layers and then kind of scale and squash because that makes it a lot more easier rather than you drawing on the very same layer. Because I always do that. If you see my, someday I'll share my comic pages. So I basically sketch out everything first, thumbnail everything, and after that I kind of draw characters on a different layer, backgrounds on a different layer, start scaling, squashing, and merging them into one panel. So
right,
that's my
right.
suggestion for this particular question. Because it becomes very difficult to draw characters and this on the same layer unless you have enough experience, right? Now at first when I started Beast Legion, I used to draw characters on separate layers, backgrounds on separate layers, just so that things don't merge, kind of. I can edit them later, but now I draw thumbnails first and then I directly draw the characters and backgrounds on one layer. But that takes time. I mean, a lot of experience and time. I've taken 10 years making Beast Legions, so you can imagine, you get what I mean, right?
Yeah, I get it. It's always a hustle. It's always a grind that you have to put in.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
One last question. Um,
Okay.
Last question. So this is coming from for a traditional artist switching to digital. It's really hard
Right.
to adapt to the brushes that a lot of softwares offer. And then it's also hard to ink on it because you've been inking on traditional for so long. And when you ink on digital, you don't get that feel of inking. It
Even
becomes very floppy.
so, yeah, because of course you're too used to inking. With me, what was I was always very bad at drawing on paper. All right, if you see my drawings on paper, they are nothing like what I draw digitally. So I really can't say that I come from that, traditional drawing background because I was really bad at it. And then once I switched to digital, I was very comfortable. But I can totally understand you've been drawing traditional for a very long time. So yes, of course, it's going to take time to adjust. Which tablet are you using, by the way?
iPad.
Okay, iPad, like I know people doing amazing work, so I can't say there's anything wrong with the pen because I've never used an iPad before.
The
But
pen
I
is
think
fine.
you. Okay.
It's more about right now. It's a struggle for me to adjust with the pressure sensitivity,
I think
the the
pressure
streamlines,
sensitive.
and the technical aspects of how
Right. Oh, it might also
you
be
have to
the screen
experiment with it.
aspect ratio, right? Because you're drawing on plain paper and drawing on a screen ratio is very different. You have to keep zooming in, zooming out. So maybe that's what's I think also coming in the way.
No, it's not. Literally, it's just the ergonomics of what I'm
Right.
doing traditionally to what I'm switching to digitally, and it's
Yeah,
not working.
fair.
I have to keep experimenting on that.
It'll come with practice, Anshuman. I really don't know what to say because, like I said, I don't really come from a full traditional background, though I've done my elementary and intermediate. But I never used to take traditional seriously. I moved to digital and I was able to, do much better art with it. So I really don't know how to answer that question.
All right, I'll leave it at that
I
then.
think it's practice. I think it'll be practice. I guess that's all I can say at the moment. Anybody
All right,
else,
then.
guys?
Thank you.
So awesome. Thanks, Anshuman. Anybody else have any questions, guys? Quickly, we'll take one more if anybody wants, and then we'll end this session here. What do you say, Nikhil? Yep. Anybody else have any questions? If not, let's end the stream here, guys. You can check out my profile. I'm just going to share my screen. I'm just going to open my profile on my screen because I think a lot of people are confused. It's Jazyl Draws or Jazyl Art.
Hello.
Yeah. Who's
Hi,
that?
Jazyl. Sudhakar this side.
Hi, Siddhartha.
That was a great session, by the way.
Thank you so much.
I just wanted to ask, like, when you were starting Beast Legion and you got an award from Comic Con India, is
Yes.
uh, so I guess that worked as a good boost for you to continue the comic forward.
Oh,
So
absolutely. Not just continue the comic, but I got into animation because of that, right? So my
right,
first offer came after Beast Legion's success. So I was working on a character design project. Unfortunately, later on it did not materialize, but there was so much I learned from it. It was going to
right,
be a serialization kind of a thing, but unfortunately, towards the end, the financial issue came up. So, but there's a lot I learned from it. So,
okay.
no
So
regrets.
yeah, I wanted to ask if there are any other like Indian committees, like these award committees that are accepting works from Indian artists. Like from since the last year, many, as you might have seen, like many kids have started drawing webtoons and comics, and
Yes,
like
yes.
they have no way of finding out if they're doing right or something, like someone judging their work or something like that.
Exactly.
Right. So like,
Yes,
are
but I
there
still
any?
think we are still in the exactly. Let me answer that. So
Hmm,
right now, I feel we are still in a very infant phase of comics or animation. Also, if I would say, we've still not gone to a level. Yes, we get outsourcing work from movies and stuff like that. That's fine. But when it comes to proper animation and comics, we're I think still in its infant phase, and we don't have enough people investing in this field, because all these things require tremendous investment. Comic Con and stuff like that. As you know, even Comic Con had to then kind of merge with pop culture to continue the events here, right? So
Right.
it's a very tough field. I mean, people would I think there were, I mean, we are right now on pop circuit trying to create awareness, but on a larger scale I think a lot of funding would be required to host events like this. And yes, there are so many Indians coming up on webtoons right now, there are so many Indian comics coming up on webtoons, but we also have to kind of see the storytelling and the level that comes from it, because it's very important. You're competing with the best. Your story has to be like really really tight, and a lot of people come up with great stories. They start off great, but towards the end there is no goal, right? So they have to kind of stop midway. I've seen comics stop midway completely, and at some point, even sometimes when I work on Beast Legion, 15 chapters now released over 10 years, sometimes there come a phase where you can't work on the comics, so it's very necessary to have buffer pages. A lot of Indian artists, what they do is they just start off and they start posting one page a week thinking they'll be able to keep going on, but life happens and you have to be ready for that. So that's when you think stop, your momentum goes down. And yes, I wish there were more awards like this, but unfortunately at the moment I know like Animation Express has these few awards in comics and stuff, but it's usually mainstream comics. They have web
Okay.
comics and stuff as well, but mainly the awards deal in mainstream comics, which are already like done by veteran players. So I think yes, there is a need for an award for newcomers in the field to get known. But again, it's never going to be on the scale like it is in the US, UK, or stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, Sudhakar?
Okay. Thanks for answering that.
Cool. Welcome, welcome. I really hope the scene picks up, because there is so much talent coming out. I'm seeing people doing crazy character designs, background work coming from India. I just wish the scene improves a lot in the next, like, at least 3 to 4 years at least.
Yeah.
Anything more than that would be a very big time frame for us to catch up with any of the global players, though we have the talent.
Cool.
So, yeah, Nikhil, I guess we'll end the session here if it's okay with you.
Thanks a lot for the session,
All
Jazyl. It
right.
was really nice.
Sorry for
So,
the small setback in the middle. Just
no
getting used to
worries.
Discord. Because I'm too used to Zoom, right? So there you don't need to kind of like chat. Everything is in one place. But yeah, this is my first time doing on Discord. So cool. I'll keep that in
I
mind.
think for your first time, it's pretty solid.
Thanks. Thanks. Thank you so much for everybody who joined up. Guys, do follow me on Instagram, and you can. Oh, before we go, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a challenge. How many of you are up for it? Just type in the message box. Just type any emoji in the message box if you are going to participate in that challenge. You don't need to be an intermediate, beginner, or anything. Who's up for it? Come on, guys. So I'm going to give you 4 words. Anshuman is used to it because Anshuman was in my character design class on Bit Class for the last 4 weeks. So we were doing a whole character design story, and he knows how this works. So come on, guys, let's do this. I'm going to give you 4 words. Please write them down and create a character. Tag me on Instagram, and I will share every entry in my story. So let's do this. Yeah, you can try. It doesn't have to be any solid work, guys. You don't have to be professionals or like really good. Do what you think is fun. All right. Now, here are the words that I'm going to talk about. First is shuriken. And let me know if you guys can hear me clearly. So, I'm going to type down the words actually. So, first word is going to be shuriken. Second word is going to be octopus. What would the third word be? let me see. I'm going to make it a little tough for you. Logs, as in tree logs. And the last one is going to be, let's just say, turtle. Okay, 4 words I'm giving you guys. Try to make a character from these 4 words. Don't worry. Try it out. Think of stuff. You'll get your answers. Just kind of roughly draw stuff. It's going to be a fun challenge, so do participate. Shuriken, octopus, logs, turtle. Great. Awesome. And Blob, I like your icon, Prince Adam. So I'm a huge He-Man fan. It's still easier than toast. Yeah, no zebras this time, Anshuman. No zebras this time. So anyway, Shuriken, octopus, logs and turtle. Go for it, guys. And once you're done, put it in your Instagram stories, post it on Instagram, but make sure you tag me at Jazyl H Draws, not jazylh.art, Jazyl H Draws. So again, thank you so much for joining me, guys. Thanks, Nikhil, for having me here. I really appreciate that. And all the best to
Pleasure.
Pop Culture Pop Circuit.
Alright, so with that, we're wrapping up the stream. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you, Jazyl, for the amazing